Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the AML 75 missile launcher mod, which is being made by user Aerobot96. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a wonderful new fun missile launcher for you to play around with, which is heavily based off of the real-world Javelin, though it does seem to have a few other design points based on a few other similar models. But yeah, definitely mostly the Javelin there, and it is appropriate considering some of the modifications you can add on to this thing, including seeking missiles, which very, very appropriate for the Javelin-esque design, and it is just a whole lot of fun. Though, my god, it does take up a lot of the screen. Again, makes sense being based off of the Javelin. Well, let's jump on over here and have a look at what exactly we are getting with the AML 75, which in its most basic and standard form will do 150 damage with a standard missile, with a firing rate of 2, range of 203, accuracy of 65, and a fairly hefty weight of 21. Makes sense with how big this missile launcher is. And as you can see, it is a beautiful looking thing. Kind of a wonky model whenever you're inspecting it in your Pip-Boy, or of course, just having it out in the world. We've encountered this with other mods in the past, though. Even though weird, it looks fine once it's on your person, whether in first or third person, so you don't gotta worry about that. But yes, overall, it is a really beautiful design, though. I really do like this thing. It certainly does look the part for a Javelin missile launcher, and I do like the reload animation on it. It works well. I do like that we have kind of a custom missile here for the whole system. I love our whole firing mechanism. It is very, very good looking. And all the modifications on this thing, plus any perks you may personally have, really do up the damage and usability on this thing, and it is pretty darn cool. You've got a lot of options in the missile category. The rest of the categories are a little bit bare, but add in enough for your particular playstyle, or like I mentioned earlier, the addition of the Seeker missile attachment onto this thing, so you can actually lock onto enemies. And of course, things like additional missiles with the magazine there. So yeah, you're never going to make it into anything absolutely wacky and crazy, but you'll do enough. It'll certainly do enough. Now, as for how you do get your hands on one of these things, well, I should mention, first and foremost, that this is very much being made for the next-gen update, and if, like many of you out there, myself included, you are still working on the previous gen for all the mods, you will just need to use one of the several mods out there, such as Backport Archive 2, to make it compatible with the older version, but otherwise it is being made and designed specifically for the next gen update. Now, once you've got that all sorted, you'll start seeing these in the world at level 30, and they'll be sold at merchants. Now, besides that, you can also go to any chemistry station in the world, and down here in the utility category, you'll find the AML 75, which, so long as you have rank 4 of gun nut plus some leather, oil, screws, springs, and steel, you can make your very own fun new missile launcher. I'm actually surprised there aren't some more electronic components, like maybe a military-grade circuit board or something like that, considering the aiming mechanism on this thing. But nonetheless, it's still, nice to have here in the chemistry station. But, like I said before, starting at level 30, in merchants to purchase as well. Not too bad. But let me go grab my modified versions before we look at the modifications, because I am going to need to switch it to the recon model, because this one does have the targeting module, which then unlocks the Seeker missiles that you can put into this thing. So just to make sure those are all showing properly, let us go ahead and grab that and head over to the weapon workbench, where, starting in the missile category, we've got some fun ones. We've got the standard missile, of course, down here, just doing that base 150. But we also have an EMP and high explosive, incendiary, nuke, and of course plasma missiles that you can have fun with on this thing, provided of course you have the correct ranks and different perks there. But along with all of those standard missiles, we have seeker versions of all of them, even the standard, so that you don't really have to aim, just lock onto your enemy and blow them away. It is pretty fun, I do like it, and the idea of a seeking nuclear missile is pretty darn cool. Now, the next category is the mag, where we have either the single magazine, so just one singular shot, or you'll get a secondary tube on the other side that will hold, I believe, 3 missiles inside of it, so that you can fire at a higher rate. We then have our targeting module, which is either empty or, not empty. And that will, of course, like I mentioned before, unlock the seeker ammunition types. We then have the actual sight itself, where we've either got the basic sight, an advanced sight with more magnification and accuracy on the sighting, or a night vision version of that advanced one. Now, so long as you got the right perks here, you can build those, and they're all pretty nice. Slightly different look to the actual aiming apparatus here, as well as the reticule that you'll have when you aim in, but pretty neat. I do enjoy them. And finally, we do have the paint category, where we've either got the standard sort of military green, a deco paint, monster paint, and a raider paint. So you can change up the aesthetics a little bit to match your style. Well, so long as your style is one of these 4 things. And that is it for the modifications. Like I said, not a huge list, but enough to make this weapon a lot more usable. And then when you add in your own additional perks into the mix, you can really bump this thing's damage up quite a bit. Like, I haven't taken any demolition expert specifically, so that we would have just the base damage visible here today. But yeah, you up that and you'll have even more damage out of this thing. Well, let's switch on back to our standard version here and shoot at our targets with missiles. That doesn't seem like the best of ideas ever, but oh well. There we go. Fire. And then, of course, a reload. There we are. Just shove that missile right on in, and then fire. Very slow of a weapon to do its thing, but, it's a missile launcher. What do you expect? But that's why this thing, being, again, based off the Javelin, you're really gonna want that seeker system on here. Granted, I don't have a target yet that we can go for, but we do have the more advanced screen. You can see we actually have a digital screen now rather than just the pass-through scope. And this is a night vision one as well. And, yeah, quite nice there with the plasma missile. Lovely. And a boom. There we go. And on the last one, this one I did add in the magazine. And the magazine is quite interesting. I think I might go into third person to show that one because it's an auto loader. So all of the missiles are held in this tube over here. And then this new piston that you have added in actually loads the next missile in. And then, of course, once you run out, you'll be manually reloading the hopper, basically, here. Kinda nifty. So, yeah, let's go to that one here. We're gonna have to shoot this way, though, because I loaded this thing with nukes. It's an auto-loading nuke missile launcher. Yes! Yeah, let's go to third person for this one. And, you can't see the things for reload if I have it zoomed in. So fire! And there you go. You can see that auto-loader system. Oh, I had already fired them earlier, so I didn't have all 3 in. There we go. Load. 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 Yeah, that autoloader's pretty nifty. I like that animation on it. It's just grabbing the missile from one side and popping it into the other. Neat. It's only 3 shots, but with the nuclear missile attachment here, or the nuclear missile just installed, it's pretty deadly, which is great. Granted, with the autoloader, you lose even more space over on the right-hand side of the screen. Oh boy, that's the one problem I got with this thing. It just takes up so much room. Oh yes, the radiation. Wonderful. All right, well, let us test these things against a target. We're gonna need 2 targets, because we're definitely gonna nuke a Deathclaw here in a moment. There we go. Get our Deathclaw friend, run the hell up here. And... die, Deathclaw. Where are you? I can't see you in all the flame and fire. I missed 2 of the shots because I didn't realize he had gotten knocked down by the first. Die, Deathclaw! And there we go, he's dead. Yeah, an auto-loading missile launcher with nukes is just fun. Let's switch on over to the recon one, though, so you guys can see these Seeker missiles in action. And there we go. Now, one problem I've got with the Seeker system is if we lock on to our Deathclaw there, it doesn't maintain the lock for very long. There it goes. It went away already. It really does tend to keep it there only for a brief moment, because it's basically, lock on, fire. And it will seek our target. So even if I lock onto him there and fire up, it still hit him. You gotta love a Seeker missile. And fire over there. Oh, and there we are. Now, of course, when he hides behind that wall over there, we do start having problems, because the Seeker missile is such an accurate and quick-turning missile. Even if I do lock on and point all the way in the sky, it's gonna hit the wall instead in front, because it doesn't, it pretty much turns right when it leaves the barrel. So yeah, it's unfortunate there. I was really hoping you could arc this thing over walls more easily, but sadly, you really can't. Oh, yep, I'm gonna need him to come back around. Fire! Oh, he didn't die. Oh boy. Back up, back up. You know what, we're good. There we go, he's dead. From good old plasma missiles. You gotta love it. But yeah, this is the AML 75 missile launcher. I have very much enjoyed my time with this thing. It is a great little missile launcher. I love the idea of adding in something like the Javelin, but obviously with a bit more retro of technology with our aiming apparatus that we have here. I think that is quite cool, an interesting take on it. And just overall, it's a neat thing. We don't seem to get a lot of new missile launchers in the game, because most people tend to focus on just their normal guns. So it's cool to see another one being added in, and especially one that gives you more nuclear capabilities. That's just entertaining. But yeah, if you'd like to take a look at this mod for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, you can have a look at the link in the description as per usual. But that, my friends, is going to be it for this one today. Hopefully you all have enjoyed, and you do come back for whatever mod it is we look at next. But until that time, thank you for watching as always. Well, have a good one.